evening, everyone. I'm Ron Becker. Virgil Dominic is on vacation this week.
WXIA-TV, a company of Combined Communications Corporation.
Good evening, I'm Dave Michael.
WXIA-TV, a company of Combined Communications Corporation.
11 Alive.
Good evening, I'm John Pruitt.
And I'm Dave Michaels.
WXIA-TV, a company of Combined Communications Corporation.
11 Alive.
Good evening, I'm Ellen Burstein.
WXIA-TV, a company of Combined Communications Corporation.
11 Alive.
Good evening, I'm Ellen Burstein.
WXIA-TV, 11 Alive, Atlanta.
Good evening, I'm Ellen Burstein.
An equal opportunity employer.
Good evening, I'm Dave Michaels.
And I'm Scott Newell.
John Pruitt, Dave Michaels, Guy Sharp, Art Ekman, and the 11 Alive Newsroom.
Good evening. Georgia is still reeling from an icy winter storm that...
Scott Newell, Mary Rose, Brian Norcross, Jim Huber, and the 11 Alive Newsroom.
This is 11 Alive News at 6.
Good evening, Mary Rose Taylor has the night off. I'm Andrea Nissen.
And I'm John Pruitt.
From the News Center of Georgia, this is 11 Alive News tonight.
Good evening, Lynn Vaughn has the night off. I'm Andrea Nissen.
And I'm John Pruitt.
From the News Center of Georgia, this is 11 Alive News tonight. John Pruitt, Chuck Moore, Johnny Beckman's weather, and sports with Art Ekman.
This is what the world looked like.
the News Center of Georgia, this is 11 Alive News Tonight. John Pruitt, Chuck Moore, Johnny Beckman's weather, and sports with Art Ekman.
Good evening. A nationwide manhunt is over. Lawmen have caught up with the man they think shot and killed Municipal Court Judge T.C. Little.
This is 11 Alive News today for Friday, May 26th at 6:30. It is, listen to this, 73 degrees, humid degrees under over.
It's 5:30, and this is First News with Chuck Moore, Patricia Hunt, Tom Sinkovitz with HealthCast, and Johnny Beckman's weather.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Tom Sinkovitz in tonight for Patricia Hunt.
It's 5:30, and this is First News on 11 Alive.
John Pruitt, Kelly Morgan, Joe Washington with sports, and Johnny Beckman's weather. This is 11 Alive News at 6.
Good evening. I'm John Pruitt.
And I'm Tom Sinkovitz in for Kelly Morgan.
John Pruitt, Kelly Morgan, Joe Washington with sports, and Johnny Beckman's weather. This is 11 Alive News at 6.
Good evening.
John Pruitt, Chuck Moore, Art Ekman with sports, and Johnny Beckman's weather. This is 11 Alive News Tonight.
Good evening. The man who shot up a naval recruiting office in Augusta remains free tonight.
John Pruitt, Kelly Morgan, Joe Washington with sports, and Johnny Beckman's weather. This is 11 Alive News Tonight.
Good evening.
John Pruitt, Kelly Morgan, Joe Washington with sports, and Johnny Beckman's weather. This is 11 Alive News Tonight.
Alive is WXIA-TV, your round-the-clock news source.
Good morning. I'm Chuck Moore.
And I'm Joe Becker. Thanks for joining us. Of legalized abortion.
You're watching 11 Alive today with Chuck Moore, Jill Becker, and Guy Sharp with weather. From WXIA-TV, 11 Alive, your around-the-clock news source. This is 11 Alive at 5. With Patricia Hunt, Bob Sokoler live in North Georgia, John Pruitt with First News, and Johnny Beckman's weather.
You're watching 11 Alive at 5 with Patricia Hunt, Bob Sokoler in North Georgia, Terry Merriman with today's news, and Bruce Arian in Skycam.
Well, good evening and welcome to 11 Alive at 5.
You're watching 11 Alive News at 6 with John Pruitt, Kelly Morgan, Joe Washington with sports, Johnny Beckman's weather, and Bruce Arian in Skycam.
From WXIA-TV, 11 Alive, your around-the-clock news source. This is 11 Alive News Tonight.
Good evening. If you're sick of your government wasting your money, you're about to get even sick.
You're watching 11 Alive News tonight. More local news coverage with Terry Merriman and John Pruitt, Johnny Beckman's weather, and sports with Joe Washington. You're watching 11 Alive News tonight with Carmen Burns and Dean Phillips. Weather with Bonnie McLaughlin and Randy Waters with sports.
You're watching 11 Alive WXIA-TV. Atlanta's news channel. This is 11 News at 5. You're watching 11 Alive WXIA-TV. Atlanta's news channel.
Key witnesses take the stand in the O.J. Simpson case in Los Angeles. And Georgia underwater. Team coverage as heavy flooding takes its toll.
This is 11 News at 6.
Widespread flooding leaves much of Georgia underwater tonight. Heavy rains knocking out roads and forcing evacuation. Some folks rescued just in the nick of time. Good evening, everyone. I'm Angela Robinson.
And I'm Mike Landers.
You're watching 11 Alive WXIA-TV. Atlanta's news channel. This is 11 News tonight.
4 days in a row.
You're watching 11 Alive WXIA-TV. Atlanta's news channel.
This is a special Super Bowl edition of 11 News.
You're watching WXIA-TV, Atlanta's Emmy Award winner for Best Newscast, Atlanta's News Channel. This is 11 News Today.
Good morning. I'm Chuck Moore.
And I'm Jill Becker. Welcome to 11 News Today at 5:30.
You're watching WXIA-TV, Atlanta's Emmy Award winner for Best Newscast, Atlanta's News Channel. This is 11 News Tonight.
Friends and family mourn the deaths of the 132 victims of the fatal U.S. Air Flight 427. Good evening, I'm Kimberly Kennedy.
You're watching 11 Alive, your NBC station, and this is your weather now.
Good Thursday morning to you. Right now it is 46 degrees.
You're watching 11 Alive, your NBC station, and this is 11 News.
First, the value jet crash.
If I'm going to run an airline, I run it in a way that I'll put myself.
From 11 Alive, your NBC station, Atlanta's official station for the Olympic Games. This is 11 Alive News Team 96, Primetime.
And there is a live picture of Centennial Park. 6 years since that fateful day in Tokyo, 6 years of preparation, 6 years of construction, and 6 years of hard work culminating tonight as the Centennial Olympic Games begin here in Atlanta. Hello, I'm Fred Khalil. Welcome to Team 96 Primetime.
From 11 Alive, your NBC station, Atlanta's official station for the Olympic Games. This is 11 Alive News at midnight.
After 6 years of planning, the cauldron burns the Olympic flame. The 1996 Centennial Games are underway in the city of Atlanta.
From 11 Alive, your NBC station, this is 11 Alive News at 5.
He was never aggressive.
From 11 Alive, your NBC station, 11 Alive News continues now at 5:30.
2 weeks after Georgia's worst mass murder in history, doctors deliver the best news a patient can hear to one of the survivors. Welcome to 11 Alive News at 5:30, where we give you nonstop news and weather in the first 11 minutes. Hello again, everyone. I'm Wes Sargent.
And I'm Dia Riley, and for Brenda.
From 11 Alive, your NBC station. This is 11 Alive News at 6.
Cleanup continues in northeast Georgia tonight as some tornado victims receive the first signs of relief.
From 11 Alive, your NBC station. This is 11 Alive News at 6.
The FAA tells the major airlines what many passengers have said all along. Cut down on the delays and improve performance records.
From 11 Alive, your NBC station. This is 11 Alive News at 11. An 8-year-old Georgia girl goes from hiding to homecoming.
From 11 Alive, your NBC station. This is 11 Alive News at 11.
It was a rare sight that many Salt Lake City residents could have lived without. A tornado.
11 Alive, your NBC station. This is 11 Alive News at 11.
Live from WXIA-TV in Atlanta, you are watching 11 Alive News at 5.
New developments in the murder of a Sandy Springs pizza shop manager. Plus,
you are watching 11 Alive News at 5 with Brenda Wood, Dia Riley, and Paul Osman with weather.
A jury in Waco, Texas ruled just about an hour ago.
Live from WXIA-TV in Atlanta, you are watching 11 Alive News at 5:30.
It's a call that could turn out to be just as deadly as drunk driving.
Live from WXIA-TV in Atlanta, you are watching 11 Alive News at 6.
Atlanta offers a second honeymoon to a couple whose first trip hit a major...
Live from WXIA-TV in Atlanta, you are watching 11 Alive News at 11.
Live from WXIA-TV in Atlanta, you're watching 11 Alive News at 6. You're watching 11 Alive News at 6, where you get top stories and your first look at weather in the first 11 minutes. Live from WXIA-TV in Atlanta, you're watching 11 Alive News at 6.
Good evening and welcome to 11 Alive News at 6. I'm Brenda Wood.
You're watching 11 Alive News, where you get the news you expect with the balance you deserve.
Good evening and welcome to 11 Alive's Evening News. I'm Brenda Wood. Officials at Hartsfield-Jackson Airport are still trying to determine if a suspicious device found inside a men's bathroom.
From WXIA-TV Atlanta, you're watching the Evening News with Brenda Wood.
From the 11 Alive studios, this is UPN Atlanta News at 10.
Welcome to UPN Atlanta News at 10, where you get all the news in half the time. Good evening, everyone. I'm Karen Greer.
Live from WXIA-TV in Atlanta, you're watching 11 Alive News at 11.
Our top story tonight, the governor...
Live from WXIA-TV in Atlanta, you're watching 11 Alive News at noon, Atlanta's first newscast in high definition.
Topping the news this afternoon, America...
Live from WXIA-TV in Atlanta, you're watching 11 Alive News at 6, Atlanta's first newscast in high definition. Live from WXIA-TV in Atlanta, you're watching 11 Alive News at 6, Atlanta's first newscast in high definition.
Good evening. Thanks a lot for joining us for 11 Alive News at 6. I'm Ted Hall.
And I'm Karen Greer. After...
WXIA-TV in Atlanta, you're watching the Evening News with Brenda Wood, the first and only news in Atlanta in high definition.
Good evening and welcome to 11 Alive's Evening News. I'm Brenda Wood.
You're watching my 11 Alive News at 10 with Karen Greer. 11 Alive News is Atlanta's first newscast in high definition.
And before we begin tonight's top 10 stories at 10, you get your forecast first, Ted.
Let's head over to Chris. Thank you, Karen. Let's head over to Chris.
Live from
WXIA-TV in Atlanta, you're watching 11 Alive News at 11. The first and only news in Atlanta in high definition.
And good evening. Thank you for joining us. I'm Ted Hall.
And I'm Brenda Wood.
Live from WXIA-TV in Atlanta, you're watching 11 Alive News at 11. Atlanta's first newscast in high definition.
Good evening. Thank you for joining us.
From WXIA-TV in Atlanta, this is your Weekend in Depth.
Hello and welcome to this edition of 11 Alive News Weekend in Depth. I'm Dennis O'Hare.
Broadcasting in high definition. 11 Alive News Today starts now.
Good Tuesday morning. It is 5 o'clock. You're waking up to 37 degrees. Ouch. I'm Jill Becker.
And I'm Karen Greer. Randy, what happened with the World Series?
Broadcasting in high definition. 11 Alive News at 6 starts now.
And welcome to 11 Alive News at 6. Good evening, everybody.
Broadcasting in high definition. The evening news with Brenda Wood starts now.
Good evening and welcome. Well, he has
11 Alive News at 10 starts now.
Yeah, it is a stormy night.
Broadcasting in high definition. 11 Alive News at 11 starts now.
Good evening. Thank you very much for joining us. I'm Ted Hall.
And I'm Brenda Wood. Well, it's down.
11 Alive News at 11 starts now.
Good evening and welcome. I'm Brenda Wood. Ted Hall has the night off.
Broadcasting in high definition. 11 Alive News starts now.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Jeff Hollinger. What a weather event it has been.
It has been, and we have been covering it.
Broadcasting in high definition. 11 Alive News at 6 starts now.
Good evening and welcome. I'm Brenda Wood.
And I'm Jeff Hollinger in for Ted Hall.
Broadcasting in high definition. 11 Alive News at 11 starts now.
They serve and sacrifice, no questions asked. And tonight, new attempts to make sure our servicemen and women get.
Breaking news, while you were sleeping, the streets of Los Angeles turned chaotic after protests against the George Zimmerman verdict became violent. It is Tuesday morning, and I'm Karen Greer.
Karen's back from vacation. Welcome back again. I'm Ted Hall. We're glad you're joining us. Hi, everyone, and thanks a lot for joining us. I'm DeMarco Moore.
And I'm Brenda Wood.
Right now at 6, more protests planned in Atlanta tonight. All of this in the wake of deadly police shootings.
Good evening and welcome to the Daily 11 at 7, where you always get some of the day's most interesting stories and a rundown that we give you, starting with number 11. So here we go. Earlier.
Good evening. I'm Jeff Hollinger. Welcome, everyone. I'm Jeff Hollinger. This is 11 Alive News at 10.
And I'm Melissa Long. Glad you're with us tonight. Tonight, we are talking about an armed robbery at a Decatur restaurant.
They say they were forced to work in a building infested with bed bugs. Now the center's most serious violation is being dropped, but employees say the bed bugs are still there.
Closed for good. The Yellow River Game Ranch is closing its doors. What will happen to all the animals, especially that famous groundhog, General Beauregard Lee?
The airport has issued an official apology for the power outage on Sunday. They released a video. They raised some questions. I've got some answers. Some breaking news tonight. A 5-year-old in critical condition after she and her mom were hit by a car in Clayton County. We just got this video from our photojournalist at Flint River Road near.
It was just a traffic stop in Douglas County, but within hours, that led investigators to two people they call major drug dealers.
A 10-year-old girl is recovering tonight at Eggleston after being gunned down inside her home while she watched television with her family.
And who didn't vote for Chipper Jones? Tonight, we search out the Hall of Fame voters to find out why.
Live from Atlanta, 11 Alive at 5 starts now.
Breaking news right now, a street through the heart of downtown tourism is shut down. Centennial Park Place closed for blocks because there's been a water main break.
NFL player from Atlanta is killed by a suspected drunk driver, and now police reveal that driver is in the country illegally and has been deported twice before.
Bailing on cash bond, why nonviolent offenders could get out of jail a whole lot easier in Atlanta.
Atlanta's new mayor talking about the city's strength as we get ready to host the Super Bowl.
Live from Atlanta, 11 Alive at 6 starts now.
First this evening, we are learning much more about that deadly car crash in Indiana that killed an NFL player from Atlanta. It's an Indianapolis Colts linebacker, Ed.
Live from the 11 Alive studio.
I just grabbed the gun and I shot him.
The conditions were disgusting. I came very close to striking him.
Up Late starts right now.
All right, welcome to Up Late. I'm Ron Jones. Jennifer Bellamy and our team of reporters are at the bridge monitoring all the huge stories coming up in our feed tonight.
Live from Centennial Olympic Park, 11 Alive at 6 starts now. Flyers of missing teens plastered all over Atlanta, feared to have been lured into sex trafficking. Atlanta is considered one of the biggest hubs for human trafficking, and that crisis only multiplies with the Super Bowl in town.
Today, a big announcement from the FBI.
Live from Atlanta, 11 Alive at 7 on the ATL starts now.
Severe thunderstorms floating around Friday night. We're ready for the weekend. Also, we're ready for the very latest in the weather. Our chief meteorologist, Chris Holcomb, is here, and he walks us through what could impact high school football night.
Live from Atlanta, 11 Alive at 10 on the ATL starts now.
A woman assaulted inside her home, why police believe this crime could be linked to a series of others in the county. A woman living in an assisted living facility allegedly found with burns on her body. Now the family is furious and taking legal action. And major changes tonight in the jury in the Jennifer and Joseph Rosenbaum trial.
It's 11 o'clock and we're up late with you. You're watching 11 Alive, where Atlanta speaks. 11 Alive Morning News starts now.
Good Monday morning to everyone out there. We hope your day is off to a smooth start. We know you are talking.
You're watching 11 Alive, where Atlanta speaks. 11 Alive News at 11:30 starts now.
New information this hour. 2 people have been arrested in connection to a weekend shooting at Lenox Square Mall. What we just learned about the suspect.
You're watching 11 Alive, where Atlanta speaks. 11 Alive News at noon starts now.
New information this hour. 2 people have been arrested in connection to a weekend shooting at Lenox.
You're watching 11 Alive, where Atlanta speaks. 11 Alive News at 5 begins with breaking news. Right now, You're watching 11 Alive, where Atlanta speaks. 11 Alive News at 6 starts now.
New tonight, we are less than 2 weeks away from Election Day here in Georgia. You're watching 11 Alive, where Atlanta speaks. 11 Alive News Prime Time starts now.
Bond denied for the man accused of stabbing a...
You're watching 11 Alive, where Atlanta speaks. 11 Alive News at 11 starts now.
And thanks for joining us on this special edition of 11 Alive News after the Olympics.
First at 11, we're tracking multiple rounds of rain moving our way. I'm updating the timing and how much rain we could get.
Plus new details about a road rage attack.
I can't imagine any justification for this.
What we know about the man now charged with knocking a teen unconscious, and the warning tonight from police.
And a troubling TikTok trend, shooting a fire extinguisher through your front door.
Knock it off, cut it out, whatever it is, the verbiage that they understand.
More on the dangers and the repercussions straight ahead.
11 Alive News at 11 p.m. starts now.
And first tonight at 11, a Metro Atlanta man locked up, accused of knocking out a teenager and threatening to sexually.
11 Alive Morning News starts now.
Coming up on 11 Alive Morning News at 4:30, we have a look at new storm damage from overnight.
11 Alive News Midday starts now.
First on Midday at 11, one Atlanta family is cleaning up this morning after Wednesday night storms caused a
Thank you, Chef Marlo. Welcome to Atlanta and Company at noon.
11 Alive News at 4 p.m. starts now.
First at 4 o'clock, we're tracking more rain, heavy rain and thunderstorms moving in.
11 Alive News at 5 p.m. starts now.
After dealing with heavy rainstorms and flooding yesterday, we're now tracking another round of rain pushing our way from the southwest.
Delta Airlines working nonstop.
11 Alive News at 6 p.m. starts now.
We are tracking heavy rain, thunder, and lightning along I-20 and south of I-20, closing in on the city of Atlanta and moving to the north side. We'll let you know if this will give us a flood threat.
Plus, the DeKalb County DA's office launching an investigation into the death.
11 Alive News at 11 p.m. starts now.
Showers and storms from earlier today are diminishing now, but with the saturated ground, we still have to watch for a potential flood threat tomorrow.
Plus, funeral homes targeted across Metro Atlanta.
We just kind of were like, what? You know, who is going to go around stealing out of a funeral home van?
A closer look at the suspect caught on camera, what police say he's stealing, and what funeral home directors believe it's not his first rodeo.
And President Joe Biden speaks from the Oval Office about his decision to drop out of the presidential race. We have local analysis and reaction from voters straight ahead.
And good evening, everyone. I'm Ron Jones.
And I'm Angelina Salcido on the desk for Jennifer Bellamy tonight. We are going to hear from the president in just a few moments.